Give me one.
There are pockets within Chattanooga where there is just very limited food access, and often that is paired with higher rates of poverty, low median household income, and often a lack of transportation. That's a big reason why we have this pantry. I mean, we see like 140, 150 households a month from all over Chattanooga. The issue of food insecurity is multifaceted.
A lot of the produce that's out there, or the plants that are out there right now, the kids helped with, they're learning and gaining some knowledge of gardening and farming. And then also the farm is putting or supplying produce, like organic produce that we grow out there, into the food pantry. It goes home with families. The folks that live in the villages and in Alton Park here, they just always have access to organic produce. We're kind of a garden for the community, not a garden or a community garden. I have a pretty swift, like, open door policy where if the gate is open and I am there on the farm, anyone can come in and ask me for produce. The other day I had someone drive by on a bicycle while I was harvesting onions. And as I was pulling the onion out, he said, "Hey, is that an onion?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Can I have that? I'm about to go eat hamburgers." And I was like, "Yeah, sure." So I walked over and I handed it over to him, and he went back and put it on burgers and came by the next day and was like, "Those onions were super good." I was like, "Yeah, they're straight out of the ground."
Lillian, these are almost full.
No way.
We grew about 1,000 pounds of watermelon and about 1,000 pounds of cantaloupe with just our one singular hive last year. They are pollinating pretty much all of our produce.
You want to pull out this
This
next?
one buzzing too much.
I know. Well, think about if you were at home and somebody just like lifted your roof off, you kind of freaked out, right?
Yeah.
But it's okay because we're really nice to them, so they like us. That's another one too. You can see the cap in it. You can see.
And I had no experience with bees. I'm allergic to bees. And it's all been like a really big learning experience for me. It's just kind of like learning how the hive works, learning like how to work with it, how important they are for our farm, just doing the regular maintenance and stuff, knowing when they're out, when they're not out, like what's going on. So it's all been like learning for me. Well, the funny thing is with the beehive is that we had a pretty strict policy. Students weren't allowed within 20 feet of it. We were just kind of monitoring it for a while. The students were able to just like stand behind me, and I was able to point out and kind of show them like their regular schedule of them coming in, coming out of the hive. And I had one student specifically who became almost obsessed with the beehive, where every time he would come out for recess on the playground, he would run over to the garden and ask to see the bees. And finally it occurred to me, I was like, I should see if I can try and get the other suit on him. So we get the suit on him, and he's got the bees landing on him, and he's showing all the students that the bees are just landing on his hand and they're not bothering him, and all the students naturally thought it was the coolest thing in the world. And so what we started doing is we had 2 students every Thursday for the last maybe 8 or 9 weeks would put the suit on with me, and we would open the hive, take a look at it, make sure everything's okay. We'd take the sugar water out, we'd hand it to the other student, they'd switch out the sugar water, and then they'd switch the suits out, and then they'd come over and refill it. So we've had 2 students do it every week for the last 9 weeks. The bees are really important, one, because I get a lot of folks that come by and ask questions about the hive, and it gives me the opportunity to kind of describe to them like why they're here on site and the importance of them. And then the other thing with the community is that like it gives me the opportunity to let people know like why we have such an abundance of food here on site, like why we're able to produce 4,000 pounds of produce is because of the bees. Like I take care of the plants, but the bees are out there every single morning pollinating things. I am not.
This is a place where it shows the possibilities of what can be grown, because we don't really have a community garden in the neighborhood.
Right.
Some people garden in their backyards, but it is, I think, of like 70% of folks in the neighborhood are renters, and so it's a little harder to establish something permanent. So we would really like for this to be a space that feels welcoming, where it really can be just like you're hollering at your neighbor Damon, can I have an onion?
Yeah. Garden for the community.
Yeah, just really shows like, okay, you can do this in a small space, you can do this sustainably without pesticides, without herbicides. herbicides, and it can be something that is really healthy, nutritionally dense, and also really friendly and fun.